Hi everybody, in this tutorial I will show you the basics of geometry nodes. I will use simple technique to create this Christmas tree. And I hope the render will look something like this. Okay, our Christmas tree will look in the beginning, on the input, will look like this. This is a curve spirals and a logarithmic type of spiral, and between input and output there will be node structure. So this what you can see here is a structure of nodes, and we will be creating the output which look like this. Okay, we'll start from the curve spirals logarithmic, and you have to have installed add-on add curve extra object. So you have to go to preferences, add-ons, and check if the add-ons is enabled. The logarithmic spiral type is the simple way to create something like this. Like it will look like Christmas tree. So the spiral parameters are turn, steps, radius, expansion force, and height. Okay, so input will look like this, and then we will create nodes, geometry nodes, as you can see here. We will add some material and object data properties of spiral input. Our input will have some extrude and some bevel. Okay, let's create a new scene. File, new, general. Okay, we can delete this geometry, this cube. Okay, and let's add Shift A, mesh plane. We will add our background. Okay, scale it. You can hold Control key, and maybe this is good. Okay, tap to enter edit mode. Can press 2 to select edges. Okay, and we can extrude this along Z axis. Okay, maybe like this. And now also in edges mode selected, we can select this edge and Control B to bevel it, and maybe scroll to 7 or 8, maybe 9 times. Okay, maybe like this. Okay, this is good. Tap out. We can make it more taller. We tap in and okay, maybe this is good. Okay, before we start making our tree, let's go to the render options and select render engine as cycles. We can change max samples to maybe 128 and max samples in render to 512. Okay, for now this settings is good in render options. Okay, so let's add some basic material to our scene background. New, maybe darker blue. Okay, this may be a little bit more darker. Okay, it's good. And maybe we can expand both sides a little bit. Alt to select all edges. Okay, and these edges also, Alt. Okay, maybe this is enough. Okay, and tap out. Okay, good. So now we can create our spiral. Shift A, curve spirals, and logarithmic. Okay, now in these settings we can change some options. Turns, maybe let's give 10. Steps, maybe 30. Okay, radius we can hide, we can change height, maybe 0.20. Okay, expansion force we can change it a little bit down, maybe 0.197. Okay, okay, this is maybe height, we will change height a little bit. Okay, and the radius maybe this much. Okay, a little bit more height. Okay, maybe turns, maybe this much, or maybe 10 is good. Okay, so we have our spiral. Okay, so these are the basic settings of our spiral, and we can go now to data, and in bevel we can change, of course, tap out, and we can go to geometry, and bevel, can change bevel to maybe 0.01. Okay, let's zoom in, and now we can add extrude, also 0.01, and this is good. Okay, this is nice. Maybe we can add more steps in bevel, and resolution maybe 6. Okay, so these are the basics. These are our basic spiral. Now we can go to our geometry nodes. So we can expand this window. Okay, and zoom in, and change this window to geometry node editor. Okay, and to hide menu. Okay, and now in modifier panel I want to add geometry nodes. Okay, so let's add new geometry nodes, and we can see here that it appears. Okay, so let's start our geometry nodes. Okay, maybe we will widen this a little bit. Okay, so the group input, this is our spiral. If we unplug this, okay, no, maybe I added this to the scene background, not to the spiral. Sorry. We can delete this and add, of course, our geometry node to the spiral. Add modifier, geometry nodes, okay, and new. So zoom in this a little bit. If we unplug this geometry, it will disappear. So this input this is our basic structure, this spiral, this is our basic structure. Okay, let's add some nodes. First of all, Shift A, and we'll add distribute points on faces. Distribute points on face first. Okay, this one here. We can add geometry to mesh. Okay. And now let's add one more panel. Instance on points. Shift A. Instance on points. On points. Okay. This will distribute points on our faces, and this panel will add our new created object, which we will plug into the instance. Okay, so we can connect these points to points. Okay, and now we can plug instances to geometry, and it disappears because there is nothing in instance. So we can add a basic UV sphere. Shift A, UV sphere, and you will see that if we plug this mesh to the instances, it will show our instance. Yes, group input, group output. We don't see our basic spiral because what we can only see now is UV sphere, which is plugged into the instance that we will create it on points. Okay, maybe let's change segments to 10. Okay, rings maybe also to 10, and radius of our sphere maybe 0.05. And if you can see, our sphere object is distributed along this spiral which we create earlier. Okay, in distribute points panel faces, we can change from random to Poisson disk. It will better, we have more control on distributing points on faces. So now we can, for example, change the density max to maybe more, and distance will show that our spheres will be we will have more distance in each other. Okay, so we can change this maybe 0.2. Okay, and now we only see these created spheres. Yes, we don't see our spiral that we create earlier. So if you want to show this spiral, we have to put in this geometry nodes panel another node which is called join geometry. Shift A and join geometry. Okay, and we will put it among these two panels, input and output. And now we can connect geometry to geometry and geometry to geometry and connect these two. So now we will see created spheres along our spiral, and we will see our spiral also. Okay, instant points, okay, UV sphere, we have all. Okay, and if we will change density max, more spheres will show. Okay, but we want to move our spiral. We want to scale our spiral. So first node we can add is transform geometry. So Shift A, transform geometry. So if we will put this transform geometry among this panel and this panel, we can control our spiral, only spiral. So put it here, and now we can scale it a little bit down. Okay, and if you can see here, our spiral is scaled down. If we change these values, the spiral is back on its initial position, but we want to scale it down. Okay, this is good. So this transform geometry controls our basic input, our spiral. This is our basic input, and the output will show us our basic input, our spiral, and also these modes which we added earlier. So distribute points on faces and instances on points, which create instances on our spiral, our UV sphere, which is plugged into the instance. Okay. There is one thing we can add now in here. This is random value. So Shift A, random value. Okay. We can leave it as float and plug it to the scale. As you can see, this random value makes our sphere, our created sphere, random on scale. So we can change, maybe we want the initial scale a little bit higher, and the maximum we can leave it as 1. Okay. As you can see, the spheres we plug into the instances are not shaded. We can add some set shade smooth and subdivision surface. So if we want to that subdivision surface appear on our sphere, we have to add this node between sphere and instant point. So Shift A, search for subdivision surface and place it here. And now, as we can see, we can change the level to 2, and you can see it has been subdivision surface applied, but there is no shading. So we can add Shift A, set shade smooth, and place it between subdivision surface and instance on points. Okay, and it is now shaded smoothly. If we press Alt and the panel we want to unattached, okay, and you can see we don't lost the connection, because when we plugged here the set shade smooth node and we delete this, the connection will lost. So Shift A, set shade smooth, and place it here. If you want to unattach this and don't want to lose connection, press Alt and unattach this. Okay. Here you can see I created another transform geometry and join geometry to connect and to our basic join geometry to show in output view. And here in this top section view, I just repeated the steps we take in our down section view. So we attach distribute points on faces and instances on points with UV sphere attached to instance, and this all is among transform geometry and join geometry as a section to distribute points on faces with instances, and then all this is connected to join geometry and the output view. Okay, so let's clean this mess a little bit, maybe move it here, join geometry, okay, transform, okay. So now we can repeat the steps we did here. So subdivision surface and shade smooth, we can copy this, Shift D, okay, and place it, okay, Alt to add unattached one, and set shade smooth here, okay. Okay, so we have spheres on the spiral outside, and we have spheres on inside spiral, but we want to move to scale a little bit down this inside spiral, so we can change the geometry of this spiral, but we can change it here, the scale of the balls on inside spiral, okay. Okay, maybe to see it better we can add material to our spheres on inside spiral, so we can add set material to our spheres. So let's move it a little bit, okay. You can Shift D to copy, okay, and now we can place it here, and maybe we can create new material, okay, new, maybe green, okay, and we can change this option to 004. So now we can see these spheres on inside spiral. They are distributed on the inside spiral, okay. As we did earlier, we can copy this random value, Shift D, and attach it to scale of the spheres on inside spiral, okay. This looks pretty nice, okay. Okay, so we have a little mess here. Let's clean this a little bit, okay, maybe here, okay. I want this inside spiral to be light. So we can change this view to shade editor, and we can choose this material 03, okay, and change some settings. For example, we can change emission to emit light, so maybe this much, okay. This is it, okay. Now we want our outside spheres to be a little bit maybe golden, so we can change to geometry nodes, okay. So we can see that if we have set material, no, we don't have set material, so we have to add Shift A, set material, and place it maybe here, okay. But now we want to create another material, okay, new, and make it gold color, okay, maybe something like this, okay, and choose it from the panel, material 005s, and okay, our spheres will look more golden now. Maybe this is too darker, so we can go back to the shader editor, choose material 005, okay, and maybe look more, make it more brighter. We can change a value of metallic maybe to 0.3, and roughness maybe a little bit down, okay, to have some nice reflections. Okay, we can see here that our outside spiral is not perfect, is not smooth, so we can add subdivision surface and set shade smooth to this spiral outside. So let's go back to the geometry nodes editor, and in here we can add Shift A, subdivision surface, place it here, okay, change value to 2, okay, and we can add, of course, set shade smooth, and it looked nice. We can do the same with inside spiral, so we can Shift D, okay, and place after transform geometry, okay, here, and this is enough because this is emission material imitating light, so you don't have to shade it smooth. Okay, let's look on our Xmas tree. It looks pretty nice, but we can add some small details to this tree. For example, we can make our inside emission light spiral more colorful. So we can add to the material color ramp. So let's go back to the shader editor. Let's choose material with emission. I think it was material 003. Yes, okay. And now Shift A, color ramp. We can plug color to color. And we can add some brighter colors. So here maybe yellow color. Here maybe some reddish color. Okay. And we want to control this position, so Control D. Yeah, we can delete this image texture, we don't need it. So Alt, factor to factor, okay. And now we can change geometry to vector. Place it near these 2 points, okay. And with Z location, we can control this a little bit, okay. Maybe we can add another more point with color. This time maybe something like, I don't know, maybe this. Okay. Can now position, we can change the location, Z location. Okay. You can experiment with these settings. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's zoom out to see how it looks. It's not bad. Maybe we can change a color of our inside spheres on an inside spiral. So let's change to the material, the green material, okay. Maybe let's make it more brighter. So maybe, okay, this color. And let's make it more glassy. Okay. And a little bit metallic. To see some reflections. Okay, I want to show you some more tricks we can add to our geometry nodes editor in our geometry nodes editor. So let's go back to the geometry node editor. And now we want to change some parameters of these outside spheres. So how we can do it? We can do it by add mesh to curve and curve to mesh. And I will show you how to do it. To do this, Shift A, mesh to curve. Okay. And curve, Shift A, curve to mesh. Okay. And now we can add Shift A, curve circle. And plug it to profile curve. as you can see, something strange happened because the resolution is big and the radius is enormous. So we can change the resolution to maybe 16 and radius to 0.00, maybe 0.5. Let's see. Okay, this is nice, and let's look what just happened. So the mesh to curve change our UV sphere to curve, then we change curve to mesh and add a profile curve to the mesh object, and this is what happens. If we will change the radius to maybe 0.6, the edges will be more thicker. Okay, maybe let's check 0.1. Okay, and maybe resolution to 32. Okay, so we have modified the UV sphere, and the UV sphere modified, all these things are in output. All these things, these distribute points on the faces, instances of faces, are connected to joint geometry and then output. So this whole section here, are these spheres and outside spiral, and all this up section is inside spiral with emission light and spheres on this inside spiral. And to show this spiral, we use joint geometry. Okay, let's zoom out to see our Xmas tree. Maybe we want to make our spheres a little bit bigger. Okay, so we want to change this random value to 0.5 and maybe something like 1.5. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Of course, you can control amount of these spheres in this panel, distribute point on faces. So if you will change this density max, more spheres will show. But we want to make it maybe less, 120 maybe. Okay, maybe 100 is enough. Okay, now we can add some light. Shift A, light, area light, move it up. Okay, maybe change power. We can change power to maybe 40. Okay, maybe we can make it more warmer. Okay, can change shape to disk, maybe a little bit changed a little bit of size. Okay, maybe 100. Okay, so back to our tree. Let's set shades, move to the background. Okay, we can change some parameters of material, our background materials, so the surface is more rough. Okay, color maybe more darker. Okay. And we have our Christmas tree made completely, almost completely with help of geometry nodes. Maybe it looks a little bit complicated, but these are basics of geometry nodes. And I think if you want to create more complex objects, geometry nodes are very helpful. So once again, I can wind this. This section here, this up section, this whole up section is the spiral inside with spheres attached to it, and this bottom section is outside spiral with spheres attached to this spiral. We add some materials to spiral here and here, transfer geometry, set shade smooth, and well, we didn't add here, so we can of course make another Shift A, set material, and we can add material to our outside spiral. Okay, we can change it maybe to material 005. Okay, let's see, it is more glassy, has spheres inside. Okay, so if you will practice these nodes a little bit, it will be very simple, and you will create more complex geometry nodes. So today we created this simple Christmas tree with a little help of geometry nodes. So that's all for today, and if you like it, I hope you will watch another tutorial which I will create very soon. So thank you for today and goodbye in next tutorial. Bye.